Hello everyone, my name is Javier Gomez, member of the UDS technical team, and in this video we're going to see how to deploy Linux applications in UDS Enterprise. In this case, as you can see, we have a VMware platform, but of course you can use any other platform that UDS is compatible with. We have an Ubuntu machine configured that we've done in a previous video, and of course we have an UDS deployment already configured. So first thing, let's enter our UDS server and let's start. We can enter, as you can see, with the IP or the DNS name. Let's enter with an administrator user. In this case, it's going to be UDS admin in my case. Okay, once inside, let's go to our dashboard and let's start configuring our service. The first thing will be to connect our service provider. So let's start with VMware. First thing will be to put our name, VMware in my case, the IP of our VMware vCenter.3 in my case, the username with valid privileges. In this case, we're going to use administrator, but we can use any other user that had the valid privileges to create, delete, and do everything that it needs. The password, the advanced tab we can leave it by default, and we can click on test. Test passed, so let's click on save. So once we have it connected, let's create a new service base. In this case, we are going to create a clone base, link it. First thing, as always, going to be our name. It's going to be Ubuntu, vApps, data center that we're going to use. Where we're going to save the publication machine. Let's put it in publications. And the data stores that we'll use. In this case, as you see, we're going to choose both. UDS will put it in the one that has more space available. Everything else we can leave it by default. Let's go to the machine tab. In the resource pool, let's choose where are our templates, in our case here, and our base machine that we have it already configured, Ubuntu template for vApps. Let's tell UDS how much RAM we want. Let's put 2 gigs of RAM. The main network where this machine will have will be LAN in our case. The clones folder will leave it by default, and the same way as before, where we want our machines to be deployed. Let's choose both, so it will be deployed in the one that has more space available. We're going to need a base name for the machines. It's going to be vApps, and our link length we have 3. So in this case, we can get up to 999 names. If we need more length, we can change it in any other given moment. The advanced tab we can leave it by default, and we can click on save. Once this is created, let's go to our authenticator part. As you can see, we don't have one right now, so let's create a new one so that the authenticator can authenticate by this new internal database that we're going to create. First things first, the name is going to be internal. The priority will leave it in 1, and the label. The advanced tab we can leave it by default, and same with the display tab. Once created, we can get inside and start creating our new groups and our new users. First thing, it will be create the groups. Let's give it a name. Will be something easy, users. So let's click on OK, and let's give it a new user, user 01. It will be your user, and let's give it an easy password, and the group that we just created. We can click on OK. Once that we have the authenticator created with the user and his admins group, let's go with the OS manager. In this case, it's going to be a Linux basic OS manager. Let's give it a new name. And let's tell them what's going to happen when they close the service, those machines. It can be persistent, semi-persistent, or non-persistent. Let's give it to be non-persistent machines to remove the service. And maximum idle time, let's give it 300 seconds. Save. Great. We have already on OS Manager configured. Let's go with the new transports. We will create 2 transports. We have direct ones and tunnel ones. So this is very important because it's going to be the transport. The one will give the user its given application. So the transport x2go, it's very important in this case because it will be the one that gives the session to the user. Let's start with our direct one for our local connections, and let's create a local tunnel one for our tunnel connections. We installed the free office in our machines, so let's go with the x2go transport. Direct one, let's give it a name, office. The priority, we can leave it by default. And network access, we can leave it by default. Credentials, if we want to put credentials, we can. In this case, the username of that machine is going to be UDS. Parameters, let's for example give it full screen and a type of desktop. And here in the path, we'll give it the path of the application that we are going to use. In our case, I have it here copied. In our case, it's going to be the LibreOffice writer and USR bind with the writer part. Remember to put the writer part because to specify what application that we're going to need. So now the advanced tab, we can leave it by default for now, and we can click on save. Now we already have our direct transport. Next part will be to start with the tunnel connection. Same as before, we'll go to x2go. Let's give it a new name because this is going to be the calculator, the calc part of LibreOffice. Let's put tunnel so we know where it is. Priority, we can leave it by default, same as network access. On the tunnel, we'll put the IP of our tunneler, or the DNS name of our tunneler. In the case that we're going to need a DNS name or a public IP, we can't forget to put the ports. In this case, we're going to use the local port. The local IP with its port is going to be 443. Credentials tab, same as before. Let's give it the username. Parameters, let's give it UDS vApp. And the path, but remember that's going to be the calc in this case. Advanced tab, we can leave it by default, and we can now click on save. Once that we have our transports created, let's create the service pool. In this part, we can create different type of pools. Those 2 forms to do this. The first one will be creating only one service, and that service will have both transports so that the users can see that in that given service they have 2 different applications, and they will have to choose the type of transport that they need, the writer one or the calc one. So in this case, let's create that one. Let's put vApps Linux. This one will be the one that has 2 transports. Base servers, the one that we have created before. OS Manager, the one that we have created before again. Display tab, we can leave it by default, and the advanced tab the same. And the availability tab, let's give it to keep in cache, for example, 2 machines in cache and a maximum of 5 services to provide. So let's click on save, and we are ready. So once this service is created, we can see that the publication is already created. So let's get ahead and assign its user. Let's select our tunnel authenticator and the group that we have created. Users, great. And same with the transports. Let's assign them the 2 transports that we have created recently. Okay, great. So next step, while we wait for that publication, let's create the second type. In this case, it will be only for one application. So let's call it LibreOffice Writer. The base service will be the same, OS Manager the same. In the display, we can leave it by default. We can choose an image if you want, but for now we can leave it by default. The advanced, we can leave it by default. And the validity tab, we can put the same example as before: 2 machines in cache, 5 number of services true provide. Great. So let's click on save. Okay. Same as before. While the machine publication is creating, let's assign the group that we created before, and the transport, only one in this case. It's going to be the Office direct one. This one, it's the one that creates the writer. So now we'll see how the user sees this. Once the publication machine is done, we can see this. Okay, so now we have our machines in a valid state. As you can see here in cache, the cache tab, both of them are valid. We can go to the user part. Let's log out with the administrator user and let's enter what the user that we have created before with this password. As you can see, we have our 2 services. We have 2 of them. The first one will only have the writer with its single transport, and the second one with both of the transports. Each one of the transport will launch one of the applications. One will have the calc office and one the writer office, as you can see right now. So now let's try. I think everything goes smooth. Let's click on writer. It will try to open the UDS client that of course we'll have to have installed. Let's allow access to everything, and the X2Go client will launch the application. Let's give it a second, and here it is. Here we have our writer ready to use. Perfect. Okay, let's close this. Not safe. In the case that we're going to use a tunnel, we'll use the calc through the tunneler in this case. Let's open it with the client, and same as before, we'll only have to wait for the application to launch. Here's to a client will run. There it is. And now we have our calc, our free office, through our tunneler. With this, now we have applications with Linux with UDS Enterprise. Hope that they can help you, and have a very nice day. Bye.